Well, I'm just trying to find a good spot. Give me a break.
Are we rolling?
Yeah. Welcome back, party people. Got a special edition of Hot Topic with BP. I felt like something has come up outside the realm of movies that I feel we need to discuss. And that is Trump's new executive order forced incarcerating homeless people.
I thought it was about him being an alleged pedophile.
Well, we've discussed this ever so briefly, but the pedophile part's not the allegedly. Everybody knows Trump's a pedophile. Allegedly, he was in it with Epstein. That's the alleged part. He's a celebrated pedophilist or whatever. That's not the argument here.
Pederast?
So, I'm Jake.
I'm Nick.
I'm Leon.
And together, our powers combined make one portion of the BP crew.
Who?
And today, we will be doing a special episode of Hot Topic with BP, and that is discussing Trump's newest executive order. And I say that loosely because there could have been 10 since then, but his newest executive order on homeless incarceration, making it not only easier to break up homeless encampments and arrest homeless people, but the forced, what did they say, medical part of it?
Asylums.
The forced part of it is
Involuntary.
The involuntary incarceration part
Yes.
is mostly what I wanted to discuss. Because this has some very shocking similarities to something that has happened in the past. And I don't want to be like, oh, Trump's Hitler or whatever, because that gets...
But
his,
where does it go from here?
his rounding up of the undesirables and incarcerating them in FEMA-esque camps, like everybody said Biden's going to do. Biden's going to put you in those FEMA camps, forced incarceration, work, labor camps for COVID or whatever. Turns out that wasn't true. But your boy Trump, he's all about it. Your President Trump.
Yeah, sending U.S. citizens to other countries.
Even more so than that. And that's just poor people that got swooped up in their immigration raids. But they're not putting up the numbers like they want. So Trump says there's over 20 million, what did he say, 24 million illegal immigrants in America or whatever. And at the rate he's going, he's not even going to hit 500,000 deportees or something like that. So, I mean, if you're doing 500,000 a year, it's going to take him 12 years, 24 years.
We'll see if he's in office that long.
There's no way. I don't think he's going to live to see the end of this term.
Depending on how the Epstein thing goes.
No.
Well, there's also potential health issues and things like that.
Yeah, that's more what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you meant he was gonna.
No. I'm saying with his sedimentary lifestyle and
Sedimentary.
his poor health. I mean, I guess he's 6'2", 230, a lean 6'2", 230.
Oh yeah.
But
Sure.
he sure doesn't look it. And he's got to be pushing 80. Right?
79?
Yeah.
You said 79th birthday?
Loves McDonald's. It's his favorite food.
I got something funny I want to talk about later with that too. Just his whole feeding himself in general. But like I said, it was the forced incarceration part that I have a problem with. The taking people off the street and locking them up.
What about getting rid of funding for housing the homeless?
Well, that was a funny one too.
It seems like if you want to get homeless off the street.
Well, no. I mean, if you arrest homeless and then commit them to asylums, well, you no longer have a homeless problem because you've arrested them.
Because they don't need homes.
Oh, and then you just privatize the place that's arresting.
It's the other issue with that, the whole committing them in asylums and arresting them for being homeless.
Yes. There's a lot of problems here. And I feel like him rounding up these undesirables and filling these camps.
Jake, you're homeless. No,
Yeah,
I clearly have a home.
We don't
Not anymore.
We don't have anywhere near the asylums to be able to actually commit them all if you really want it, if you really went that route. So
You could
What
thank
do you mean?
Reaganomics for that one.
What do you mean? You throw up a couple fences, Joe Arpaio style. No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
Joe
Alligator
Arpaio
Alley
style.
or whatever.
Have it tit shitty.
Alcatraz.
that is what will happen if they actually try and commit pretty much all of the homeless into asylums. Is you're gonna have to just build as cheap and as quick as possible.
I mean,
Shitties.
Nowhere near enough.
And you're
Where's
what?
that money going?
You're talking about tens of thousands people per state. There's nothing that with that kind of
Well,
facility.
you don't keep them in the state that they're homeless in. You put
Ship
them
them
on,
all to Florida.
You put them all on trains, and then you ship them to different.
Why is it
We'll
gotta
call
be
them
trains?
concentration camps.
It's a place where you can concentrate these people.
Yeah,
In a camp.
Right.
And I mean,
and you
it's,
ship them by train.
So what you're talking about is all over the desert of the Southwest?
No, because you don't want it too hot.
No, you do want it too hot.
you
You
lose
want
a
them to
lot
be able
of
to work
trains.
and not die.
Oh, they're work camps now?
No.
Well, I mean,
what you
With us exporting all of, or getting rid of all of the.
They're going to send them to the
immigrants.
Rust Belt. Make them pick fruit? Is that where we're going?
I think so. Pick
I don't-
crops.
I don't know if I
No,
want my homeless
it's-
people picking my crops.
It's just like the idea behind the alligator Alcatraz. The cruelty to the ones that they're locking up is part of the point.
Yeah, that's the because it's like they want you to self-deport, right? So you know that if you get caught up in it, you're going to be in worse situation than if you just self-deported. So it's better you just leave.
What's funny about that is that they keep talking about how he's getting rid of all the dangerous criminal immigrants, but look at where he's getting them. He's getting the ones that are showing up to court. That doesn't sound
Court
very
and
criminal.
work and
Getting the ones that are showing up at work, getting the ones that are while they're at church. Like, do these sound like violent offenders to you?
it sounds about as violent as you can get. Church is a plague.
Well, and then the guy that they deported illegally.
Or my favorite, the ones they're tracking down through tax information, so they're paying taxes.
Those ones? No, not those ones. Those ones are cool.
The guy that they deported illegally and then brought him back, they're getting actual criminals that were convicted of trafficking and going to give them plea deals if they say shit against
Yes, no, it's
him. You know what? If somebody gave me that deal, they're like, hey,
Mhm.
we'll commute your sentence. All you have to do is do this. Okay, I don't really know the guy, but
any competent, well, unless something much more than just their testimony comes out in like trial, any competent lawyer with a fair jury would be able to get that charge be found innocent. Because there's basically no evidence, and no one even brought it up until it's like, well, no, he doesn't have gang ties. You can't deport him.
He's a barber. A goddamn barber. So that was my big thing, was all the forcing, locking up people against their will.
it bothers me that they want to get rid of funding for housing people. Like
That as well. Yeah, those are the two big. Those are the two biggest issues. Well, the three biggest issues, because technically, as part of the way the executive order is set up, the arresting them for being homeless is one part.
Okay,
And
that's
then
a bad one too.
Committing them into insane asylums is the other part.
You know how those crazy leftist liberals try to fight this kind of problem? Is they said you can't make it illegal for somebody to be homeless if you're not able to house them. So if you're a principality or city or state and you're like, oh, you can't be homeless, well, you can basically charge people with homelessness if there's no place to put them, like a halfway house or some sort of shelter. And it's like, okay, I mean, that doesn't hurt. I mean, our whole system's screwed up. You know, there should be asylums. It's probably not the right term, but care facilities for some of these people. Homeless people ranting and raving on the streets.
We are both, as a country, we are far too soft on people that we shouldn't be soft on.
Like
And
politicians?
far too hard on people that we shouldn't be hard on. And so we just can't get it right.
It's true.
Like,
It's both. It's the pendulum swings too far on both sides, but it's really too far on the right because there aren't those options, like you said. If some people shouldn't be on the streets, some people probably should be forced incarcerated or whatever, but it's going to be such a small fraction of the people that are going to get swept up in this. I mean, we've all seen those crazy people on the street. They should probably be institutionalized in some way. getting proper care from a doctor and medication and having a place to live and all this. I've made the argument numerous times that it's cheaper to house homeless people than it is to pay police and hospitals to take care of them when there's an issue.
I think that's what one of the Sweden, Norway maybe, one of them
Utah?
built a bunch of like little 1-bedroom homes.
Ultra conservative Utah. They did just that. Salt Lake City. They, right outside of the city, built basically a tiny home community, and they took all their homeless people and they put them in there. And then they just gave them a place to live. And it's basically like a tiny studio, like this room.
Yeah.
And then it's got a little bathroom and a little kitchenette and a bed. And that's it. But their life expectancy shot through the roof. The cost of dealing with those issues, no homeless people. The homeless people were going to the emergency room for care.
We also need to figure out a way to help the homeless get documentation. Because if you've actually talked to someone that's homeless and is trying to not be homeless, a big problem that they'll often have is they don't have things like their ID and their birth certificate and all of that. It generally gets lost in becoming
being homeless.
Well, if you don't have that, you can't get a job. If you don't have that, you can't get the other documentation that you need. Like
If you don't have an address,
it's-
you can't fill out an application.
Yeah, it's basically, once you get to that point, it basically becomes impossible to get out of that point.
See, that's perfect. We need to, instead of spending money on more ICE agents, you need to spend money on social workers to help people get through these issues.
Well, it's the same thing the same problem I have with the idea of mandatory IDs for voting.
Okay.
It's like, I'm totally okay with that, but IDs need to be easy to get, they need to be free, and there needs to be a way for people to get there for free. People shouldn't have to pay money for that to be able to vote. And for some people, they don't have an ID because the DMV can take a big chunk of time, especially in lower income areas where there's not as many of them.
Yeah, where you don't have them.
Where they're going to have to wait in lines for longer.
You're going to have to pay to
transferred
leave.
there,
Yeah.
Not only that,
ends
you
up
can't
costing
get
more
your
money.
ID. If you're homeless, you can't get a driver's license or an ID unless you have 2 forms of ID, which means you need a birth certificate and a social security card.
You probably can't get an ID if you don't have an address.
You can't get a social security card if you don't get a birth certificate. If you don't have a birth certificate, I don't even know how you prove that you're you and how you go about getting that from the hospital where you were born. Like, let's say Nick, you don't have your birth certificate, you lost it somewhere, and you lost all of your other information.
You go to the county recorder. It's not the hospital you're born at. There's like a government office that does it.
You need a way to prove that you are you. To
Oh
get
yeah.
your birth
No,
certificate.
I'm not arguing with that part.
Like-
I'm just clarifying one of the bits. Yeah, you're right. 100%.
They have to fix that.
And that's a very good
And that
point.
that would be a much more useful way to help reduce the homelessness.
What is it going to cost to lock these people up? You know what I mean? If you took
Well,
every homeless person, I don't have a calculator on me,
Well-
but if it's $150 a day and there's 1 million goddamn homeless people, it's $150 million a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, that's a lot. And then that adds up quick.
It's going to be even more expensive than that unless the places you're going to put them is basically a cluster of tents surrounded by chain link fence out in the middle of the desert.
Well, obviously that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But even that's going to cost a ton.
Or it'll be like, hey, they're a
Kansas.
cotton farmer. How would you like to sponsor these 10 people?
This is like the Hickman Farms, the egg factory. They got to deal with the female prison system in that old state of Arizona.
I'd fertilize those eggs.
Well, and the thing was, this was during COVID specifically. This woman was talking about how they wouldn't let her go back to prison because they weren't allowed to transfer between facilities, and how it was worse staying on the farm than it was being in prison because the place she stayed in didn't have air conditioning, it didn't have running water. Like, there was all these issues that the bunks at the chicken farm had. But it's like, you get to leave the prison, you get paid some money, you get these freedoms that normal inmates don't have.
I will almost guarantee you that at somewhere down the line, it will come to, okay, we're going to provide you with a place to stay. It'll be fenced in so you can't get away. and you can
That's the
stay there
forced
for free
incarceration.
as long as you work here, or work there, or pick fruit, or do whatever.
Oh my God! I swear to God, if homeless people start picking fruit, I'm gonna be so pissed.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Then our giant garden is going to finally pay off.
They're gonna all those illegals that they're rounding up. They're gonna make them start working the farms. Oh, it's gonna be horrific. But one of the things I wanted to point out, I guess I'm the one who originally came up with this fucking observance, but it feels like a lot of this has happened before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is like, those doomed to repeat it people are like, there was just a handful of decades ago that they were rounding people up, incarcerating them, undesirables. I made the reference to the gypsies. They were homeless people, right? Because they're like roving culture or whatever.
Roving bands of gypsies.
Roma.
And so it's like, okay, so they rounded up all the homeless people, and then what? And then it's going to be special needs kids, and then it's going to be criminals, and then you're just going to work your way through the list.
Oh yeah.
And then eventually they'll come for me, right? And there won't be anyone left.
I don't get the reference.
It's not a reference, I just made it up.
Oh.
Well, it's because the generation of people that had to deal with that,
They're all
live
fucking
through that,
dead.
they all died.
Or nobody cares what they think, because they're all just
They're-
crazy old people
the
now.
majority of them died.
Yeah, we could use some sort of. Well, we called it the boomer doomer.
Mhm.
COVID, when it first came out, everybody had such high
That'd be
hopes.
nice.
Oh, this is it. All the boomers were free, and then they came back even stronger. It's like there's more boomers now.
I called this when Biden was president. I was like,
Oh, that was a mistake.
well, I said that the pendulum swings both ways, and I was like, it keeps getting further and further. It keeps going further and further to the left, further and further
But
to the right.
it's not going further and further to the left.
The issue is
Listen to the Retrumplicans.
Well,
They
but
all
they don't
say
know what
that
the fuck they're
this is
saying.
a
Well, no, the problem is that the Democratic Party is
Has no
fundamentally
story.
incompetent. at things.
Republican light.
Like no, they're just incompetent. Like they pick the wrong hills to die on, and they don't know how to run a campaign. Like as an example, the guy who was running for office in Texas. You cannot run for office in Texas and then say, I'm going to take your guns.
Yeah, I remember.
That works other places. That does not work in Texas.
I'm coming
Because
for your guns.
They just don't understand.
from my cold dead hands.
And that's another hill they need to stop trying to die on because you're never going to pass a ban ever.
There's
And
too
you
many
need to
guns.
stop talking about bans, and you need to have the people in the party stop talking about bans because when they talk about bans, then a reasonable person is like, no, I don't want to ban your guns, but let's talk about what we can do to make sure shit like this doesn't happen. It's like, well, no, these ones want to ban it. It's like, what do you want to do? Tell them to shut up.
When the only one that actually passed any legislation that restricted gun rights in the last 20 years was Trump. He's the one that had the restrictions on the bump stocks and
Bump stocks. There was a couple.
There's a couple.
No, let's go back to what
Take the guns
most
first.
gun owners that I know hate. The NFA. That was Reagan.
Okay.
Like,
I'm not going to argue with that.
That was Reagan. Well,
National
the second-
Firearms Association.
The National Firearms Act.
Act.
Just the second NFA. I forget who the first one was because there was the first ban happened because of Kennedy.
Okay.
So it was in the 60s.
So what? You can't have a hunting rifle now?
Well, no, that's where you couldn't import weapons from.
Oh, did you use like an HK or something?
And then it's restricted, like you couldn't import a machine gun, and what could be imported was really limited. And then in '86, that's when they banned all the rest.
I want a little Uzi so bad.
It's like $9,000.
Well, I mean.
Well, $9,000 for
15.
an Israeli one, like 4 or 5 for a knockoff.
I want a nice one
Fully
that
automatic?
fires fully automatic.
then you got to get a stamp for it.
That I don't. Well, I don't mind getting a stamp. That's
It's
a
like
very.
$5,000, isn't it?
No,
it's like $200.
$200.
It's not, the stamp isn't the problem with machine guns. The problem with machine guns is you can't get new machine guns. You have to get pre-1986 machine guns or pre-1960 something machine guns if they're European made. And so the ones that you can buy are limited, so they're all really fucking expensive. Like Uzis and Mac 10s are some of the cheapest ones you can get because there was a lot of them.
And they're still expensive as fuck.
Yeah, they're like $9,000.
You could buy an arsenal for $9,000.
Exactly. If I won a lottery, the largest single chunk of money I would spend would be on guns because it's like an automatic AR is like 50 grand.
I'll take
An
one of
MP5
everything.
is like 25 grand.
Mine would be a forced labor camp. That's what I'd spend my money on.
You probably make a killing. It's probably a good investment. You buy some acreage, some cheap tents, and you grease some palms so you win some government contracts. All of a sudden you're getting paid to house them. Then once you're housing them, you grease a couple more palms. Then you get some fat contracts to pick fruit or dig ditches.
Might roll up.
And then pay them like a penny like an hour or something like
A
that.
small
while they work.
fraction.
Because you have to pay them. You can't not pay them.
Yeah.
Like that's how the prison labor works.
Yeah, like
It's-
$1 a day or whatever.
It's a tiny amount of money, but they are getting paid, and
Yeah.
it can be useful when they do get out of jail or prison to have like, oh, well, here's for your like 20 years, here's a couple $1,000s worth of the labor you did.
I would actually pay them incredibly low, but I would charge them for housing, food,
No,
Just so like companies.
laundry services.
And then what you do, then you have laundry machines that are coin operated, vending machines that are coin operated, have sandwich machines that are coin operated.
Okay,
Um,
I'm with you with the laundry
have
up
a-
until the laundry part.
Have a
I would just
company,
force them to do it.
have a company
We'll take your
store.
clothes, we'll give you new ones, and you're gonna have to pay.
company store.
Okay,
You
some
know,
sort of commissary.
sure.
That would work.
Yeah,
You know, $100 a pound for flour.
you got a way to cook it, but a lot of flour. Because they're in
We
town.
could do this.
We can make this happen. I got 40 acres. I got a good place to start. Not a lot of water, but
It's not flat enough.
yeah, you couldn't see them. There's too many places to hide, get away.
Just raise all of it.
We have to get all the rest of the parcels around it.
No, just raise everything.
Buy some right
All
on the
the
edge.
trees. Just level everything.
The problem is the canyon and mountains.
Yeah, the terrains too.
Fill it in.
Just fill in that canyon.
Okay, you're better off just buying all the parcels around because you now just are talking about spending more money than the plot of land is worth.
He said, Mr. Beast, oh, we just flew in 10 tons of sand. Made our own beach.
Well, I mean,
It's
you
cheaper to
wouldn't-
buy
you
islands
would-
that way.
You probably wouldn't have to fly in materials if you just took material that is the mountains and filled in the lower areas. There's actually a joke about statistics where they'll take the globe and they'll pave it flat and call it average. Because that's how it works.
Yeah, I
Ups
mean,
and
that's-
downs.
Yeah, that's statistics for you.
Probably getting that wrong.
Yeah,
Something
close
like that.
enough. I mean, I get the thrust of it. So that was what I wanted to talk about. I have a bad feeling about this in a way I haven't had a bad feeling in a long time.
Mhm.
And I really feel like this is like, when the war started. I feel like this is another one of those, 9/11 moments. Just nobody gives a shit about this one. Or they're doing it all wrong. Like you said, the
Yeah.
Democrats.
They just don't know how to. We just need to replace that fucking party.
Yeah.
The new liberal party.
And the maggots. We gotta get rid of them.
What we need to do is you got to get Republicans to split their side, right? Because if you did like a moderate Republican and an ultra conservative Republican or whatever, like a MAGA and then every other
The
one.
Democrats are moderate Republicans.
Well, that's the problem. This is what we were talking about.
They are a
pendulum.
centrist party.
And you can't say the pendulum swings too far to the left because simple fact is we don't have universal health care. We have very poor education. We have very poor
Shit.
public everything,
Of course. The,
unemployment benefits, housing.
one of the issues, and it's something that the Democrats in general tend to not understand, and they get pissy about it when you try and tell them, is that part of fixing education is that they have to understand people are going to have to fail. You can't. The way it works is you have to set a standard, and if they can't meet that standard, they fail.
Yeah.
Current school policy is they don't fail people.
That's your No Child Left Behind
It's
thing?
no, that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there isn't things that wouldn't need to be fixed on all of that stuff, right?
That's an example of where we're too soft on things we shouldn't be.
And people say this about like universal health care, which I'm a big fan of, is, well, you can't do that because there's too many illegal immigrants. So I'm like, okay, here's a good solution for that problem. If an illegal immigrant shows up in the system, fix him, deport him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Boom, there you go, problem solved. Oh, well, you can't, well, nobody's turning anybody away from a hospital.
Mhm.
I don't care who you are. Even the Bible says you can't do that,
Well, I'm pretty sure there's laws that say you can't do that.
Oh, yeah, it's highly against the, well, here's some,
Like emergency rooms and whatnot.
yeah, exactly.
Like an urgent care can say get fucked.
Yeah.
But like a hospital
Like
emergency,
a proper
you can't
hospital,
say no.
and it's not. I think if there's an emergency at a hospital, you know what I mean. I don't think it needs to necessarily be an emergency room. I just mean like,
Oh yeah.
if you need care, they can't just get rid of you.
That's why you end up with people that have a bunch of medical debt. It's like that's never getting paid. They don't have insurance. They've never had insurance. They don't have a job. They're never
Well,
going to pay for it.
that's where that homeless thing comes in, because they say when you're on the streets, you average 2 emergency room visits a year, and that's
Jesus.
Yeah, each emergency room visit's like 20 grand or something like that.
I mean, that's a big part of the problem. It's like
It's
too much money for things that it shouldn't be.
Well, and yeah, so again, that speaks to a deeper issue. But just as an example for homeless people, when you house them, you cut that number in half, or I think it was 1/4. So instead of twice a year, it's like once every 2 years,
Yeah, that makes
or
sense.
something like that. And so all of a sudden, instead of you just save 80, 90 grand, them not going to an emergency room that they're never going to pay. And what does it cost to put them in the smallest 1-bedroom you can find? 10 grand a year, if that. You know what I'm
It wouldn't
saying?
even be that much. After the initial cost of building a giant apartment complex, which would be the most economical way to house people,
Mm-hmm.
and if it was able to generate its own power, you're paying for water and garbage.
Well, even if it wasn't, you could still create a bunch of jobs just by doing that. Because you're going to need people to secure it, security officers and things. You're going to need people to maintain it, facilities guys. You're going to need administrators to run it. So that's going to generate a ton of jobs. And then you plug them into the power grid. You have them work themselves, right? And you get to stay in these towers for free, or they get like half your income or whatever. But you get food, shelter, medical care, all this stuff, and then half of it goes towards paying off your debt or whatever, and the other half you get to keep or put into a savings account. Once you're in one of these places for a year, okay, you get assessed, you're good, you've already paid for your end because they keep half your money, the other half you get to keep. So you do it for a year, you make 20 grand, at the end you get 10 grand. That's enough to get a place for a few months, buy a car, get a job, like all that stuff. You know, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it could, in the long run, be a lot cheaper and be a lot more effective than just rounding up homeless people, force incarcerating them, and then private companies, entities that own these facilities are going to be raking in the cash. And you know it's going to be all this smiley, glad hand bullshit. And it's like, oh, well, I know a guy, so I got this fat, lucrative deal from the government.
Especially with the Republicans that are in power right now, it's all going to be
Yeah.
sweetheart deals.
You don't think DeSantis owns a part of that fucking Alligator Alley or whatever?
I mean, I think he was related to someone that helped with the contracting of building it or something like that.
I guarantee you he's getting a piece of that.
Or something already came out.
Yeah,
somewhere.
exactly. You know what I mean. There's a cut in there for him. His wife sits on the board. You know, pick one. You know what I mean? And it just starts that way. And it will only get worse. Because once you start paying private companies to lock up Americans
Once it's
for profits, all of a sudden it's going to become profitable to lock up Americans. All these laws are going to get written, and then it's going to be like, oh, you're going to fuck around, you're going to find out, and you're going to end up locked up yourself. Locked up if you're lucky. You know what I mean? What if the war turns south, and then they need to fucking free up resources and shit? This is just a step or two away from the fucking ovens. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And these are Americans. It's one thing deporting, unnaturalized people from other countries that aren't supposed to be here. But when you start doing it to Americans, and even then, Congress, literally the Constitution says Congress decides how immigration works. Congress, by the Constitution, have said that if people come here claiming asylum, you have to grant them entry, and then you have to give them due process. That's literally what the Constitution says. Mm-hmm. So, fucking with that process is unconstitutional. You know what I mean? So if you're a big constitutionalist, oh, I'm a Constitution kind of guy, well, these open border fucking, refugee what have yous, that's what the Constitution says. Congress decides, this is what Congress decided. That's it. There's no arguing with that. That's the Constitution, you know?
Yeah, all you have to do is get on American soil and claim asylum.
Yeah, and whether you deserve it or not, whether you meet the qualifications, the criteria, whatever you want to call it, it's not until you go through the due process, have a court date, get in front of a judge, do all that stuff, do you get to stay or go. You know what I mean? Then you deport these people. That's what the law is, the constitutional law. And so what is being done, anybody who claims asylum, they're asylum seekers. They are granted asylum until it's proven that they don't deserve it.
No.
So you can't, that's why they're always saying you need more judges. If you want to deal with this problem, you get more lawyers and more judges. That way you can work through that backlog of people. People could come in. Imagine if within a week or two of coming in, you could decide if they needed it or not. The problem was, and this is what they gave Obama all that shit for, is they would set up a court date, the backlog's 2 years, they would give them a cell phone and say, when somebody calls you on this cell phone, you come to the court date. And then all of a sudden, oh, look what they're doing, they're giving illegal immigrants cell phones. And it's like, well, you understand the process, don't you? Like, it was like the Obama phone program. It's still going on. Basically, anybody can get, if you're low income enough, you can get a free cell phone from the government. It doesn't have a lot of minutes, but you can make phone calls, you can call 911, you can receive calls on it, and it's, one of them socialist programs. Oh my.
This is the country we live in.
So, was there anything else you guys wanted to add on the topic? That's kind of all I wanted to say. I feel like something like this needs to be getting out, not just by us, but by everybody.
What about that alleged pedophile Trump?
Well, the pedophile part's not the alleged part.
I'm going to continue to say alleged.
It's, like I said, he's admitted he likes them young. There's all these stories from young girls. That's not the alleged part. The alleged part was he human trafficking with Epstein? That's the alleged part.
I doubt.
Or benefiting from Epstein's human
Oh,
trafficking.
probably, absolutely.
Well, you get what I'm saying. Didn't they go in on like some sort of modeling agency together? You know what I mean? Like you could import underage girls from overseas under this modeling contract, and you get them special visas.
Well, that
it's
sounds
like
like
a working
where
visa.
He meant melanoma.
Yeah, that was an Epstein thing. He had this connection, or he had this company, and that's literally what they did. That was like their business model. I mean, I'm not knocking it, except for the underage part. There's some good there, minus the underage part.
Okay.
But you get what I'm saying. I mean, starting a modeling company that brings girls in from overseas to do what you will with them, okay, that's one thing. Underage, that's a whole nother something else.
Not girls.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to put it. There's a difference between women coming here to model or try to make it big, as opposed to trafficking children.
Yes.
And that's the alleged part. Because like I said, even has he ever denied being a pedophile? He's never said, no, I'm not a pedophile. How easy is that to do? I do it all the time. I'm not a pedophile.
Not a pedophile.
I've never once. Like, and we were kind of touching on this the other day, I'm, I guess, more into a mature woman for what they can do, right?
What's that tongue do?
Exactly. Then I am into like a young girl that's inexperienced or whatever draws people to the young aspect of it.
Young
I
and
think it's
inexperienced is
destroying
fun when you're
innocence.
young and inexperienced and you're fumbling through shit and figuring shit out and learning shit. That's kind of fun, but once you actually know what you're doing, it's like them not knowing what they're doing. Just
Yeah, see, a lot's lost for me. That's exactly it. I want somebody that's going to challenge me.
I didn't pick you up to educate you.
Yeah, right. It's not my job to teach you. You should be teaching me stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, I guess different people are into different things, but it used to be like a deal breaker for anybody. There was like a few things that everybody could agree on, and that was, like minors are untouchable.
And now you have libertarians going,
Well, that's the thing. So I got a little rant about libertarians. Because for all the evil, nasty things you would say about Democrats and Republicans, politicians, having sex with minors, children, and all this, libertarians are trying to make it legal. By that I mean Google Libertarian Party leadership age of consent laws. And you'll find things spanning decades from every state of Libertarian Party leadership trying to get these age of consent laws. They're always like, we just want children to be able to work. It's like, no, you just want children to be able to consent. Work is just what you're saying, you know, oh, we just want them to be able to have a job. You don't want no 11-year-old to work. What the fuck are you going to have them do? But
meat factories, if it's Oklahoma.
But if
you got to replace the immigrants somewhere.
But I'm just saying, if you can then, well, if they're old enough to do
That's-
this, they're old enough to do that.
That's another thing that I actually saw on a Fox News clip.
Upsize.
And it was somebody talking about, you know, well, if you lower the
Child
age
labor
that
laws
kids are allowed to work,
Or something they're going after as well. Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And
It
this
is
was on
ridiculous.
Fox News, and I was just like, what?
Yeah, that's fair. That whole thing is fair. I can't stand it.
I could see, you know, your child at a mechanic shop underneath a car fixing a car or something,
No.
or maybe at a factory.
So yeah, somebody's
No.
got to brush the smokestacks.
Yeah.
No, what's funny is if you actually
Chimney
watch them,
sweep.
Who can crawl in behind the
Oh,
boiler?
man.
if you watch the videos on like the news where they're talking about it, about trying to get it, and the kids they always show little kids wearing like suits. It's like,
Dressed
no
up.
one-
Look at the little businessman.
it's like no one is hiring a kid for that job.
Yeah, the office manager.
Like, what-
yeah, no.
What nonsense are you smoking?
Yeah,
Like,
and
if you're hiring a kid, it's to do the most basic labor possible because they're kids. They
Yeah.
haven't learned skills yet.
well, even on top of that,
I'm not
they're hard
saying
to
they're
keep
dumb. Kids
focused.
aren't dumb. They haven't learned yet.
There's they don't have the life experience. That's why they can't consent. I mean, there's all these different things.
And then like the safety issues, like a kid doesn't know what they should and shouldn't do. They don't know that, oh yeah, this machine's going to take my hand off if I stick my hand in here. They're kids.
Well, a lot
They
of
want to
safety
reach out
stuff.
and touch stuff.
A lot of safety stuff isn't made for children,
Yeah.
right? Because it's all about you being adult-sized everything.
Yeah.
42-inch, blah blah blah, and this and that, and railings are like this. But it's like he can fall through that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's made for an adult. What if you got a kid up here? But yeah, exactly. I don't know. Like I said, it just the whole thing was incredibly disturbing. I guess it probably happened a couple days ago when he went through. I think it was
Friday, I
It
think.
was a couple
Yeah.
days ago.
And so just
Thursday, maybe.
the more I've been thinking about it, dwelling upon it, the more
He
I
was
feel
right-
like I needed to say something.
he was right
You
where
just
we
needed to
stopped.
talk.
I needed
Get it
to,
out.
and I do, and I'm going to cut this into a bunch of things, and I'm going to post it in 100 places so as many people can see it as possible, so that more people will talk about it. Because I feel like this is you can't, you know, this is like, ooh, look who sees the future, but this is one of those steps. You know what I'm saying? Where you cross this line, you make this step. It's the dark, windy road, and this is how it starts. And I mean, we're probably past that start part.
Oh yeah.
You know, Trump doesn't get elected again. You know, we're so far past that first step. But I mean, comes points where it's like, okay, well, that was one of those points. You know,
Where
like-
all the following steps become much easier.
yeah, exactly. Once you pass that precipice or whatever you want to call
Once
it,
you knock over that first domino, the rest of them go over pretty easy.
yeah, things just sort of fall into place. And you know, it doesn't take much. They say it's like 1/3 or 1/4 of the population to fuck around with another 1/3 or 1/4 of the population, and then 1/3 or 1/4 of the population and not do anything about it. And then all of a sudden, that's everybody.
Here we are.
You know, and it's like,
Here we
I
are.
don't know. I am awfully political as far as my beliefs, but my aspirations, not so much. I think I might, you know, feel like something more needs to be done. I feel like I definitely need to go volunteer my time and start trying to shape the party, you know, differently. I'm sick of this boomer bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of old men running things the way I don't like. And I feel like this is exactly what you get. Right?
I've already decided I will not, under any circumstances, no matter the party, no matter what my other choices are, like I'll even skip the vote if I have to, but I will not vote for anyone that's trying to run for president that's over the age of retirement.
Okay.
Like, period.
No, that's great. I say this as well. This is one of my
You're old
strong
enough to
beliefs.
collect Social Security.
That's it. There you go.
Yeah,
That's,
you should not be able to be elected.
you should.
not
Yeah,
be
you shouldn't be a
eligible for
representative in
election.
our government. They when
No.
you become old enough.
I'm
Imagine-
okay with them continuing their term of whatever they've been elected to,
The
but
day.
they cannot run again.
No, the day.
No, because the reason I would be okay with them continuing to run their term is because they were elected knowing their, like, people know their age, so they know basically you know you've elected an old person to do this,
But
so you're basically denying the people the vote because you're saying, well, I don't care that you think he would be fine until the end of this term, he's not fine, he's gone.
Well-
that's why they can finish their term, but you cannot even run again after that point.
hypothetically, in this situation, you would know before you ran that you would only be able to be in office till this point. And everybody who voted for you would also know that it doesn't matter how good they think you are or whatever, you only get to be in there until this point. The only thing I would say is the special election part.
Yeah,
Because-
it'd be a needless complication. Just
It
let them
would
finish
be.
their
I
term and
mean,
then they
special
can't elect
elections happen all the time, especially with how aged our political party or our political class is. They, and they do crooked shit with it all the time. People that lose elections get put into these special positions. Think of Martha McSally, for example, and things like that. So there's some crooked shit that gets done with special elections. But I'm just so bigoted against old people that I don't care. I would rather.
Well, see, this is the way I look at it. Is think about how you feel about things, and then think about somebody who's 10 years younger than you. Completely different.
Yes.
Now,
fair.
somebody who's 30 years older than you, their belief system is probably so far removed from yours that it's
and
ridiculous.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And like,
just sick of old people.
old people are not the future.
By
Their-
definition,
Good
yeah.
at that.
Their future is a graveyard. Like,
Their future is our present.
this is why, like, I just,
No, that's fair.
anyways, we gonna watch a movie or what?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Alright, I'm gonna grab this other couple slices of pizzas. I actually wanted to stop